Number 20190008, an ordinance to amend the St. Charles Parish Zoning Ordinance of 1981 to change the zoning classification from C-3 to R-3 on lots 3, 4, 14, 15, Block 6, Almedia of Mosella Subdivision, as requested by Brennen and Melissa Friloux. Again, Mr. Albert.
Thank you, Madam Chair. As you said, the rezoning is a request to go from C3 to R3. In this instance, the department recommended denial, noting a specific comment from wastewater that their service may be inadequate. The Planning Commission, however, recommended approval based upon comments from the applicant and public testimony. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Albert. I think, Mr. Fauché, do you want to add anything yet? Or?
Sure. The wastewater in that area is at full capacity. We are looking at many of the areas of the parish right now. We've developed a 2 to 5 year plan on most of the parish. We do realize that the service in that area is at max capacity. However, there are a few things we're doing to move forward future-wise. One is the oxidation pond. The oxidation pond revitalization will allow us to reverse some of the flows that are going through those transmission lines to the Hornville treatment plant and bring them back to the oxidation pond once that project is completed, which will probably be, I would say, within the next year to 18 months. We also know that the 2 wet wells or lift stations in the Parity area right there need to be updated, along with 2 force mains and the gravity line that crosses underneath Highway 90 going towards Parity to the Parity Library, which is our largest lift station there. Those are all items that we're already looking at. So based on monetary assessments and the generosity of the parish president and this council would be dependent upon the timeline of moving forward with those projects. To come up with those projects is only 90 to 180 days to evaluate, assess, and look at those improvements. So probably in the budget of next year, I will be coming to either ask for money or to look at the state revolving fund.
Thank you, Mr. Fauché. File number 20190008 is now open for public hearing. If there's anyone here who'd like to speak on behalf of this item, please come up and do so now. Again, please state your name and your address, and you have 3 minutes.
All right, my name is Brennen Friloux, 225 Lake Catherine Drive in Luling. I own the property there. It's currently blighted houses. They're rented out. There's 2 of them there. They got an abandoned duplex. I have some pictures if y'all want to take a look at them. Just to give y'all a general idea of the area. The first page is the current property that I'm trying to remove all of these houses and build 3 fourplexes. I would do it in phases. I wouldn't do it all right away because I would be doing a lot of the work myself. I'm a builder. I'm a real estate agent. I'm not going to tear them all down and build 3. I'd probably go back. I'd remove this white house in the front, remove that duplex in the back that's abandoned, and build 1 in the back, get it established. My parking lot would be right there. And then later on in the future, remove the 2-story house and build them on that side, the other 2. That's the property that I'm trying to rezone right there. It's C3, which I could do all kind of different things on it for neighbors and all. It's kind of pick your poison. The next page with the colors, the first property right there in the blue is a trailer that the guy rents out. Trailer's 25, 30-year-old trailer. He rents it out. C3 also, I believe. And then in the red is my property. The guy with the yellow is older houses, probably 40, 50-year-old houses. Currently where the number 3 is, he has a RV there that he rents out. And then in the back on the 2, he rents that house out. so it's rental properties also. The one in the big blue, all the way on the right, is an abandoned commercial building that they want to tear down. It used to be, I think, a seafood restaurant or something like that. I think it was 3 or 4 units back in the day. It's abandoned. All right, the next page, to give you an idea, is the parity area. In red, it's kind of hard to see, but just to give you an idea, the commercial C-3 right there, I mean, people have been trying to do stuff and it never works. So currently, in the parity area, all the way from the Zalmans to Paul Mallard Road right there, there's over probably 30 properties for sale. You could go across 1 and 2s across Bayou Gauche Road. 4's the old hair salon place, Zydeco's. They got a store right there. There's there's all kind of properties. So if a developer wants to come in and buy commercial property, there's abundance of them. Far as apartments, most places besides the parish, apartments go in commercial areas.
I'm sorry, I'm going to have to stop you real quick. Your 3 minutes is up. We've got a motion to extend your time by Councilman Benedetto and seconded by Ms. Cluley. We'll vote on that real quick. That passes unanimously. You have 3 more minutes.
Okay. And then you could see in the yellow is apartments that are in the commercial area. These apartments are probably 95% capacity rented out. So apartments in these areas work, and they will help the commercial industry. If you go to Metairie, there's millions of apartments and millions of businesses that flourish. In St. Charles Parish, they don't work. I mean, commercial's not, there's many. If you go to the last page, it's the same thing. This is the Mimosa Park area. There's 20, 25, there's abundance of commercial property too. If you look at the yellow, there's all of these apartments that are doing great in these areas. My property, it's zone C3. I probably ain't gonna do nothing C3 on it. I would just rent them out, you know what I'm saying? And then if I get the approval, I would tear them down and do it in phases. I know they have a sewer issue. Currently, the duplex used to be on sewer, and that big commercial building used to be on sewer. So that's 5 units that are not on there no more. So I would be tearing down one, and then the duplex is 2, and then the big commercial building would be the other one. So I would bill it in phases. If I got to bill it a year from now, I will. I just want to get it done because it's just going to sit there. The people before me, they tried to wait for some commercial development to come on, and it never happened. So I just hope that we could do it and it happens. That's it. Any questions?
Thanks, Mr. Friloux. You can have a seat. We have public hearings still open. We may call you back up.
All right,
if we have
thank
more
you.
questions. Thank you. File number 2019-0008 is still open for public hearing. Anyone who'd like to speak on behalf of this item, please come up and do so now.
I'm going to go while he's discussing what he's got going on. Milton Alamo Hornville. For a progressive parish that we want to be, this is kind of a stain on us if you think about it. Here's a gentleman who wants to invest in our parish, and we can't accommodate him because of sewer problems. Sewer problems didn't happen yesterday, didn't happen when he asked for permission to build his buildings. They've been around. Why are we not addressing this? Mr. Friloux, sounds like to me he's ready to jump through any kind of hoops to work with you all to get the blessings, allow him to move forward. I would suggest that this council give him what he wants, put some stipulations as to when he can actually have someone occupy these buildings, and make our public works department, our sewage department, fast track this. Get this done. It doesn't need to be next year. It doesn't need to be 90 days. It needs to start tomorrow, figuring out what we got to do to fix it. I don't bet so, but I'm going to say it anyway. I'd be willing to bet that if this was a major hotel wanted to locate in that area, we'd make it happen. He's a small investor, wants to grow his business. We need to work with him. Please work with the gentleman, get him what he needs to get his project done. Thank you.
Thank you. Item 2019-0008 is still open for public hearing. Anyone who'd like to speak,
Bill
please do
Burns,
so now.
207 Sam Street, Boutte, Louisiana. I live adjoining the property that Mr. Friloux wants to build on. Me and him reached an agreement, and me and my wife don't have any problem. As far as I know, I'm the only neighbor that's going to live there. The other house, like he said, was a rental house. The people be coming and going, so I don't think they'll have much to say in it. But for us, it's okay.
Thank you. Public hearing for 2019-0008 is still open. If anyone would like to speak, come up and do so now, please. Seeing none, public hearing is closed. Council discussion for 2019-0008. Mr. Hogan?
Thank you, Madam Chair. You know, with this issue here tonight, the department recommended denial because it didn't meet any of the rezoning criteria. The commission recommended approval despite it not meeting any criteria and despite it being a spot zoning. Tonight we received on our desk a document from another adjacent property owner who is opposed to that, and I'd like to go ahead and read that into the record. He wrote, my name is Joe Christian. I'm sorry I could not attend the meeting due to a scheduling conflict. I own 2 lots between the Waffle House and the subject property above. I'm opposed to the rezoning of this property to residential mainly because of any future issues I may have with either selling my property or if I lease my property out. I feel that a residential community nearby will limit the type of leases I can attract. I'm also not well versed in the real estate market, so I'm not sure there are other issues that could arise which will cause me hardship in the future. I've included a copy of a letter I received from the council and proof of ownership of the property. Could you please read my statement into the record and forward email to the list below for other council members? Thank you. Respectfully, Joe Christian. You know, once again, the codes are there to protect adjacent property owners. They're not there to give applicants what they request at all times. Without approval of all the property owners that would be affected by this rezoning request, you know, I cannot be in support in this, and I would ask for y'all denial on this request. Sewer issue has nothing to do with it. Thank you.
Mr. Cochran?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I just want to reiterate what Mr. Fauché had stated earlier. He is actively working toward a solution to the issues in Parity, and he's also actively working across this parish to a number of solutions to sewer issues. So it's not something that we're not addressing. I wanted to be clear that we are working toward a comprehensive solution to our sewer problems. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cochran. Any more council discussion? Ms. Benedetto?
Well, just to be clear, if we were to approve this, he would not be able to, or we would not be able to provide him the sewer that he needs for what he's looking at, correct?
The system there is at capacity.
Right, that's what I heard.
Okay, if he put all of those units online, that absolutely could not. Could we manage with one of the units and possibly move forward? You know, I think I made it clear that it's not that we don't have a plan.
Correct.
The plan is a function of money. I mean, like you run your household. I mean, you would like to have a new house, but do you go build it? You know, you have to utilize a plan and work within constraints that your funding source has. Without having concrete funding sources, I can't tell you when I will be able to move forward with that plan. At any given time, we have solutions, but they all require capital in order to implement. We've chosen other priorities in the parish because those are the ones that we're actually having these sanitary sewer overflows. We were able to get that money because DEQ has the state revolving fund at a 0.75%. And I do repeat that. That is 0.75%, not 1%, but less than 1%. And you know, we do have the availability of that money, but that comes with us identifying problems that they already know are there by our yearly sanitary sewer overflows that we report. And we report everything. I can't answer for other parishes, but we do report everything, and we have an excellent relationship with DEQ because of that. And Dr. Brown, the managing director of DEQ, he recognizes the efforts that St. Charles is making moving forward, and he was a huge supporter of us getting the $8 million that we got from the state revolving fund. So we do have a plan. We are moving forward, and yes, I can address this, but it's a function of time and money.
Mr. Friloux, can you come up, please? I'm not trying to get into your financials, but are you receiving any income from this property at this time?
Yes, ma'am.
So if this had to wait a year or so to come
Yeah.
into fruition, would that, I mean,
No, it wouldn't be
I
a
don't
problem.
want to kill it, but I want to work, we have to work together or it's not going to happen.
Yeah,
Because we
I
can
will
say
wait.
yes and there's nothing you can do anyway because
That's
you won't have
fine.
enough sewer.
If you say yes, I'll wait till I come back and y'all say you could build it.
Well, I don't know how we can do that. That's my next question. Is there a way we can revise or add or amend something to stipulate that if we change this, it cannot be implemented until a certain date or without,
portion of it.
I mean, because it won't happen either way, right?
A portion of it, one at a time.
I don't know. Help me out, somebody.
Rezonings are not legally subjectable to conditions. So you would approve this, and then it's in the hands of the developer, the planning department issuing permits, and public works for approving any building permits that would happen on the property.
I'm going to interject here. Could we limit the permits as they come through?
Yes.
I'm hearing lots of different answers here.
Not as part of this discussion.
Not as part of this, but we have the authority to limit permits as they come through, correct?
Upon review, we may not be able to issue it because of other problems
Okay.
at that time.
So there is, you know, a backup for maybe slowing the process down if we had to.
Potentially. I would have to see what's in front of us.
Sure. Okay. Ms. oh,
So we could approve this and you not give him the permits when it's his time anyway, right?
If the application doesn't meet the standards,
Right.
if he came in and met the standards, he would be due a permit as part of the process.
Ms. Belloc?
Thank you, Madam Chair. I wanted to talk to the gentleman that sat down. I didn't know his name.
Yes, ma'am?
I wanted to ask you, are you currently having any sewer problems right now?
No, ma'am.
Your home? No? So if, this is to Snooky, so if he goes online with his apartments, will it affect the neighbors?
The only time we have any problems there is during our surcharges when we have a significant amount of rain. And that's when our issues happen there. During our normal operational times, we do not have problems in that area. It is only during rain events.
That's all over. Thank you.
Mr. Cochran?
Thank you, Madam Chair. And currently, right now, we're providing sewer.
Yes.
You know, they got 3 structures there, and we're providing sewer right now. And I think what Mr. Friloux said earlier, he's going to start slow, so that gives us some time to work together. And if we had to, we could put package plants there, working with health and hospitals, okay? So I just wanted to point that out. Thank you.
I give y'all my word, if it does approve, I'm gonna rip down that building by myself, and these apartments will be built by me.
Sure. So I have a question, sort of a common sense question. We've got 3 or 4 buildings there now
They got 2 houses and a duplex.
that are functioning, derelict, but
Well, the
functioning,
duplex
correct?
is abandoned, so
Okay.
they were functioning at one
So
time.
you've got 2 houses there that are actually utilizing sewer services
Yes, ma'am.
currently. So if you were to tear 2 houses down and the others that are not in use, and then build one
They would be a
fourplex,
wash.
the impact shouldn't be too different. Am I correct, Snooki?
Correct?
Okay. All right, Mr. Wilson, and Brent, you can have a seat, we'll call you back.
Can I
up if
say
we
one
need.
more thing about the adjoining neighbor?
We really,
Okay, that's fine.
yeah, sorry. Mr. Wilson.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I guess after listening to our Director of Public Works and the Parish President, and somebody even mentioned something about packaged plants or whatever, we need to be very mindful that we don't set a precedent here, because we've had a lot of interest in District 1, and we've had some issues with this I&I, major rain events, sewer manhole covers doing what they don't normally do when it's not raining, and I don't know how that comes when it comes to submitting reporting to DEQ. So I imagine Ms. Carla with the grants office, in addition to the revolving loan deal, y'all got a plan. We have looked at every district, and I guess y'all prioritize who gets what. So I just would like, if this move forward and passes tonight, that same level of consideration is given to many other areas, because I know the guy can rent every house that he has right now. In regards to whether we get heavy rain or not, we can't stop him. And if we approve it, I've never seen us be able to tell the planning commission, we'll just let it move through slowly, which will give y'all time to get funding and make the necessary improvements before we have sewer backing up in some of the older existing surrounding properties. So I just wanted that to be on the record. Thank you.
Mr. Hogan, you requesting a motion or speak? You press the motion button. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, right now we're discussing sewage. Sewage is not the issue that's here in front of us. The issue in front of us here tonight is rezoning the property from C2 to R3. The question is, does it meet the codes or does it not? Is it spot zoning or is it not? That's what we should be discussing here. Once again, this doesn't meet the code requirements. If every neighbor adjacent to this property had no issue with it, I could consider it. But if you have one property owner that these codes are there to protect their property and their uses, this should not be approved. Anyway, I just wanted to let y'all know I think y'all off subject talking about sewage. Thank you.
I'll make one more comment in regard to that. I think this rezone is a positive change aesthetically. I think it could only improve the value of the surrounding properties. Yep. Unfortunately, that resident property owner that emailed us couldn't be here tonight to have a discussion. These are some derelict looking properties. You ride down Highway 90 through Parity and, they're noticeable. So I know Councilman Woodruff's not here tonight to speak on behalf of his district, but I would hope that he could see the positive change here. And I think that we have measures in place to make sure it's done the right way. And maybe luckily it's brought something to our attention that we need to work on. So I'm definitely in favor of this one. Any more council discussion? Mm-hmm. All right, seeing none, please cast your votes. And that passes with Mr. Hogan voting nay.